So the floor is open to you. So if you have any questions, just think about them now and ask them, because now you have the opportunity to ask so many people, and I'm standing in the... So I'm going to stand like this, I think. I want to start with Anders and Åke, since you're sort of the witnesses and important. Irene talked about the multidisciplinary, that is something that drives the research forward, that is really good to be multidisciplinary and everything. And you have, in your case, Anders, you have like huge consortiums. I mean, you have collaboration with so many people. So is it something... I know we need to have collaborative projects because at least you have to be 3 people or 3 organizations. But is it something that you actually like, that you think it's good, or is it just some political nonsense that the Commission decided? Is it really true what Irene said, that it actually drives everything forward?
Well, when we were making our expression of interest, we were thinking, is it good to have many partners, or is it better to have fewer partners? We didn't know.
Okay.
So basically, we choose the best partners we could find and those that we knew, and basically set it out that way. And we really need those partners for the success of the program. So I would say that yes, we need collaboration, especially when I think IMI projects are kind of broad and encompasses many competences. So we need them, yes.
I would say it's absolutely necessary. Development of society doesn't go for one discipline at a time. It's really very, very important to have this interdisciplinary cooperation, and that's the way forward. So it was absolutely necessary and natural for us to work in that manner.
Did you want to add something, Irene, to this? Yes?
It's more direction, maybe.
Mm-hmm. It is
works,
on.
yeah?
Yes, it works.
So it's actually not the Commission who has decided that. It's
Okay.
the member states.
It's
who
the
has
member
decided
states. It's us.
that this is the way it should be
Oh,
funded.
okay.
Because the framework programs is actually co-decision between the
Yes,
member
that's
states
true.
and the
That's
European
true.
Parliament,
Yes,
and the
sorry.
Commission implements.
Yes, sorry.
Just to be
But then,
formally correct.
yes, but then the Parliament is correct then.
Yes.
Yes, they're right. Sorry about that. A question from the audience? Yes, please.
Hello, I'm Björn Andersson from a Swedish medtech company. I have a question for Anders Carlén. The IMI project, and you had big pharmaceutical companies working, and according to my understanding, please correct me if that's false, the big companies do not get any funding from the IMI, but they actually provide in kind, which of course our company has been approached if we should participate in IMI collaborations, which is quite not so beneficial as compared to other Horizon 2020, where we actually get money instead of put in money, so to speak. So could you comment to that somehow?
Yes, you're correct. The FPI companies provide in-kind contributions. So the 101 million euro also includes the in-kind contribution from the FPI. What's really much better in IMI2 as compared to IMI1 is that there's no co-funding needed. So that's a big step upward, and it makes it easier to, I think, to find partners. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so there are a couple of differences between IMI1 and IMI2. So first of all, in IMI2 is the rules of Horizon 2020. So the funding is 100% of the part. And in IMI2, so the members of FPA, the big pharmaceutical companies, always carry their own cost for participating in the projects. But amongst the applicant consortia, etc., we can fund SMEs, but also up to mid-sized companies in IMI2. This we could IMI1, so that is actually a novelty of IMI. There is a second novelty of IMI2, and there is something called associated partners. And I mentioned already, for example, the Gates Foundation, but there may be other types of industries, etc., that would like to come in and co-fund with the pharma industry or with IMI into projects. And if those come in and say that we would also like to contribute, they can contribute in kind or in cash. We actually have a separate pot of money of EU funds that we can match those funds as well. So that's a second novelty. Also, considering the multidisciplinarity, the need for bringing in ICT companies, the medtech companies, etc., also into the IMI.
Okay, thank you.
So you're saying it's more favorable now, being an SME, for example, to be included in the IMI project?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So having a question. Yes, sorry. I just want to ask you, Johan, if you're the support office now, you can take the mic. If the support office, because you also meet lots of SMEs in your capacity as an NCP, ICT, what do they say about, we talked about the collaborative projects, and now we hear that there was a change, the IMI 2, so it's more favorable for SMEs, and also the Horizon is supposed to be more favorable to SMEs. Is that something that you hear as well, that SMEs actually like Horizon?
Yeah, I think you can say so, and often, as I try to hint a bit, I mean, many times when you meet SMEs, they are quite enthusiastic about the collaborative projects, not only the money they receive, but also the benefit from collaborating with others, as opposed to, for instance, the SME instrument, where they get funding for their company. But still, if you start to compare, I think a lot of the people participating in the collaborative projects are really enthusiastic about the networks, the new markets they reach, etc. So in that sense, yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, another question from the audience.
Yes, I guess this is a question for Åke Bergman, at least the first part. I think it was news to me that you could be accepted as a partner, but I mean that Swetox was one partner, while you are actually several universities. And we have like Science for Life Laboratory, which is also a collaborative initiative between universities. So do you have, for instance, is Swetox its own legal entity, organisationsnummer sort of? Or, okay. Was that sort of part of the trick to get this through, or?
Well, thank you for this very particular question. I'm very pleased to elaborate on that a little bit, because when we had the first meeting around Swetox, the 16th of December 2013, the question was posed to the person from VINNOVA that was there presenting, and I asked twice, first open and then the second time between four eyes, is it possible that Swetox can be one? And the answer was yes. That was not the case, in fact, because when we came to the application, actually the PIC numbers for each of the universities is in, but it's then under Swetox Uppsala University. Swetox, I mean, there are nodes at each one of the universities, so we have used the PIC numbers, but Swetox was added up front. And this is a discussion that I'm going to have now with VINNOVA and actually to extend it to Brussels, because it would be, we really would like to have it as one legal entity, but on the other hand, I mean, just as SciLife is under KTH, Swetox is under KI. So this is a little problematic, but when we received the funding for EDC mixed risk, in the discussion I had in Brussels, I heard that something similar has happened before, but we haven't really gone any further. But as you understand, it was a simple question with a long answer. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think, Irene, did you want to add something to that? No? I thought you'd... Okay, thank you. Yes, because it's interesting, because otherwise it's legal entities, and then you can apply as a legal entity. So it's a normal, I think, question. Another question? Yes.
Hi, I'm Christine Engi. I work for Infant Bacterial Therapeutics, and I have a question for Johan Lindberg. Regarding the EU SME support, when you come to ask for some help, do you come with all the collaborative partners, or do you come with yourself first?
No, I mean, you can start as yourself with your idea and have a first discussion what kind of partners do I need to actually manage this idea and get assistance in how to find them as well. Yeah.
And do you have such thing that a project is too early or too advanced to apply or to come to?
Yeah, but no, not for. You can always contact the EU SME support office, but then of course they will look at the call for proposals and might say that, well, your idea is way ahead of what is called for, or vice versa. So they will of course try to match you to what is called for, but you can't be too advanced or too late to contact the support office.
And also maybe I should add, since I'm actually the project officer for the support office, that it might happen that there isn't anything for you as an SME in Horizon or IMI or something. And then you will get an answer saying that, no, this is nothing for you, which is also a very good answer to get. So you don't have to sort of look again and again and again. And maybe they said that you should come back at a later stage, or maybe they find other type of funding for you that could be useful, for example, national funding or something. Yes.
It's been suggested that Horizon 2020 is a more political instrument, sort of, than the previous work framework program. So it's a question to Maria and Irene, maybe. Is this the case that sort of bottom-up influence is difficult to get through nowadays? And does the member in the committee have a bigger role than an expert, that the more general political perspective sort of can override the researcher's view?
I can start. From the Swedish point of view, I would say that most of the suggestions that come from researchers and so on will come through all the way. So it's more if there is any kind of, I can't actually think of one at the moment, political things. For instance, gender could be one issue that I want to bring up and things like that. But I wouldn't say it is more political in that sense, as I think that you mean that. So in sort of the topic question, there is no sort of political in that sense for the area.
I agree with you that SME 20%, for example, that's typical political objective. But we have seen those previously in previous programs as well. I think the main shift is actually to look at the outcome of what's being funded. Emphasis on really following up of the project that has been funded. What has happened with the results? Have actually the results been taken up? Have they been exploited sufficiently well, etc.? So it's more on that side to look at the value for money in that respect.
Thank you. Another question?
Glenn Bilby, I'm from a digital health SME. I'm curious if you know the percentages of market-driven innovation that wants to partner with research, say for validation, compared to research-driven innovation that's looking for a market.
Question. I don't know, but it's an interesting question.
I would say both exist, but I wasn't there to say a percentage but I mean, in such a large research and innovation program, you would find both sort of very close validation projects, but also more sort of basic research going to innovation.
We mentioned
percentages. No. I don't dare to guess either.
No, me neither. But we mentioned the SME instrument, for example, which is more about your project and your company going forward to the market, and also the fast track to innovation, which is also more about the project going to the market, and also things that were on Irene's slides with the Eurostars, for example, which is much more market-driven type of projects.
I wanted to add another dimension that we haven't talked at all about today, and these are the structural funds. That it's a really, really important other type of finance which is available actually for research and innovation as well. And I don't know if you're having information meetings in Sweden about that, but it's something, what we are doing in my office, we are actually mapping out, we're going through all the programs of all the regions in Europe, identifying which one of those has identified health research, medical research, personalized medicine as a priority for that particular region. And then what we're looking at sort of is trying to link those regions together to see a little bit, because it's quite a lot of money available in the structural funds, and I think it's something that is really worthwhile to look at as well. So I'm not sure in the Stockholm region how much it would be, but for the rest of Sweden, I'm sure that there is quite a lot of structural funds available for ICT.
Yes.
For health in particular.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to look into what kind of support can be found at region.
And I can tell you then that it's Tillväxtverket, so the Agency for Regional and Economical Growth, who are responsible for the structural funds. And they have tours now going around about the structural funds and also the COSME program, for example. So you can talk to them. But as you said, here in Stockholm, it's not that much structural funds, but out there, yes. And it's a lot about going to innovation and so on. And there are also possibilities, possibilities for using the structural funds, for example, for investments and so on. So it's a lot of things. Yes, thank you. Yes?
Yeah, my name's Ian Cotgreave, and I work at Swetox now, but I've had the privilege of working on both sides of the fence of IMI. So I spent 10 years working at AZ, as well as being an academician. And I'd just like to talk about influencing IMI, because we lost that one a little bit. Influencing Horizon 2020 is one thing, but we should take courage as well in what Per said, that Sweden has a very strong power base in drug discovery and particularly in the university system. And I think we should use that power base in our interactions proactively towards industry to actually influence which IMI calls are coming out. We shouldn't be afraid to do that. I mean, I was actually part of the STEM Bank call, which was grounded at AZ and Roche, and it all came out of academicians constantly reminding us about the possibilities of what science is offering today. So, and it just happened to coincide with industrial needs. So take courage and do that. That's a fully possible thing in a country like Sweden.
That is an excellent comment. And I would also like to encourage you that if you have good ideas for IMI programs, don't be shy. You can send those to the IMI office directly. Gunnar is also the Swedish representative for IMI, and feel free to forward ideas as well. Quite often the topics coming out of IMI actually is a conglomerate of different ideas coming from, academics, SMEs, and the big industry that have come together and actually comes out in the call in the end. So it's an excellent proposal.
Well, yes, another question?
Yes, I'm Torbjörn Pettersson from Neoproteomics, a small SME. A question, I mean, if you want to apply for money in Horizon 2020 and you have innovations coming out from academia, would you recommend that you would apply it as the academic partner rather than the SME? Because as an SME, you have financing for 6 to 12 months, basically, so people wouldn't know if you survive until you get the money, since it takes 2 years before you start building your what you call it, consortium, until you have your money. And the other thing is, of course, how much money would you ask for in a program for you to make the effort? Because it costs a couple of FTEs to get to the point where you start to get something out of it.
Yeah, the last question is rather difficult to say. I mean, you would of course have to estimate what effort you put in and what you might get out, because basically the budget you ask for in the project will be related to the work you do in the project. So that is difficult to say. For the other question, I would say, but this the simplifications in Horizon 2020 makes it much easier. You know when the deadline is, and you know that the project will start 8 months after that. Also, even if you're a small and weak actor as an SME, the funding rules are quite, how should I say, beneficial, that you get a advance payment that would cover quite a lot of what you do. So the most of the time in the running project you will have a cash flow that is on plus. It's only when the project ends that the Commission will withhold a certain amount of money to make sure you do the final reporting. For the running projects, I wouldn't be so scared, even if I have a small SME that doesn't know if they survive for 3 years, even if the EU project is 3 years, because at least the EU funding will be a positive stream. But of course, if you say that, well, it takes a couple of months to write the proposal and then 8 months waiting to see if I get the project, and I don't know if I survive that long, yeah, then that's of course difficult. So.
Yeah, and I could just add also that if you're not the coordinator, then you will not be undertaking this financial viability test. So it's not, I mean, they won't go through that hard. But of course, if you're in a consortium and if you're sort of that weak a player, maybe nobody wants you, because nobody wants to have an SME that's sort of won't be able to make it to the end. So I think it's more up to you, which one would you want to use for the application. And I think it's important, you said it, Johan, that if you're an SME, you should take care so you're not sort of feeling just tick in the box type of thing, that they need an SME for this project because it looks like you're closer to the market or something, and you're very happy that they asked you because it's such a great consortium and so great actors, so you're just happy to be there. Because if that's the only reason you're in the project, then you're going to be disappointed for sure. So that's just, do you want to add something?
And I think this goes for all partners. You should never, ever add what we call cosmetic partners. The experts evaluating are often quite clever. So if they see partners inside there from specific nationalities or SMEs or entities, but doesn't really play any role, the whole project will actually be questioned. If Never, ever put partners in there because you think it's nice to have them. Everybody should have a concrete role in the project. In the application, it will be evaluated, it will be checked, and experts see quite clearly what's going on.
Yeah, and I think Anders' IMI project really illustrates that. I mean, it can be a huge consortium, but everybody is important to meet the end result. Yes, another question, the last question?
Yeah. I've got a question about Sweden. I mean, Sweden's number 3 on the hit list of bringing home cash. And that to me is brilliant. We need to maintain and better that. Now, we've got a whole bunch of people in this country who have been good at getting cash out of the European Commission. In PHC, in Horizon 2020, Framework 7, 6, and so on and so forth. IMI as well. It would be really nice if somewhere we had a sort of a front page with groups in Sweden that have succeeded. These are the people who have coordinated projects, bang. For those people who want to apply for new stuff coming out, then that's a point of reference. Can I call you? Can I talk to you? What was the best, what was your experience? What were your findings? Even things like, okay, when you went to questioning, like we've been recently questioned in the final round of another grant in 2020, and we were successful. And it was 30 minutes of questioning. How did you approach that? How do you coordinate your answers to that? We put everybody in the same room, we rehearsed like actors, and we went through it, bang, 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 bang. Even small things like that can help people out in critical times. So I'm really appealing for this kind of a portal, if you like.
Yeah, we'll take that home to VINNOVA, I think. Thank you very much. Just thank you all the speakers. And thank you for listening. And also, before you go out and mingle and have your coffee and pastries, which is fika in Swedish, and talk to all the speakers there. I just want to go through again, so you don't forget all the speakers, what you sort of learned. Irene talked about lots of possibilities in the Societal Challenge 1, but also other types of possibilities within Horizon and sort of outside Horizon, in the fringes of Horizon, if you're in health. So don't forget to look outside the Societal Challenge 1. And also we heard that there is support. We had so Per Johan talking about the support office for SMEs, but both Anders and Åke talked a lot about the grants offices at the universities. And if you're a research institute, I don't know if there's anybody here, you also have grants offices, most of you. So there are people that can help you being a sounding board or reading your application or helping you, for example, with negotiations or whatever you need to do. There are support structures out there, and they are for free. Sort of, you already paid for us, the NCPs, the support office, the grants offices, the whatever. But if you want help with writing an application, then we cannot help you if we're for free. But there are lots of free of charge help out there. And also, I think the most fun thing that I will take home with me now is that it's fun to coordinate projects at EU level. And I think I've actually never heard that before, and both of you said it's fun. And that's something I think we should bring forward, that it's daunting and it's scary a little bit because you're so many and the budget is so high, but it's also fun. And it's also fun to be different type of cultures. You're not comfortable with being with industry type of project officers with just Excel sheets and whatever, and you have to perform every 3 months. But that can also be fun, and you can also learn something. So I think that's really what I'm going to bring home and see. The differences I find in people when I meet, that's fun. Yes, I think we could end that. Thank you.